I never thought a single heartbeat, mine, echoing in the sterile hum of a hospital room, could shatter a family like glass under a boot heel. Your mistake, my father spat that night, his voice a venomous whisper as he stared at the four of us crammed into that too-small bed, our tiny fists clutching at each other like lifelines. And just like that, at 6 years old, Elijah, Isaiah, Josiah, and I, the quadruplets everyone whispered about like a curse, learned what it meant to be born unwanted in the heart of America's heartland. The fluorescent lights of Mercy General buzzed like angry hornets overhead as I scrubbed in for another 12-hour shift, the scent of antiseptic clinging to my skin like a second shadow. It was 2015, and Chicago's winters still bit into your bones the way regret does. Slow and unrelenting. I'd clawed my way through med school on scholarships and sheer spite, determined to prove that Ezekiel Harlan, the forgotten fourth of the Harlan Quadruplets, wasn't just a statistical anomaly, but a man who could heal what his family had broken. Pediatrics was my armor. Kids didn't judge the stutter that crept into my words when emotions ran high, or the way my eyes lingered a beat too long on the handsome dads in the waiting room. That afternoon, the ER doors burst open with a chaos that yanked me from my routine like a rip current. A social worker, harried and wide-eyed, wheeled in a gurney carrying 4 identical boys, no older than 8, their faces smeared with chocolate and tears, clothes threadbare and mismatched. "Quadruplets," she gasped, thrusting paperwork at the charge nurse. "Car accident. Parents DOA. No other family listed." My heart slammed against my ribs. Quadruplets. The word alone conjured ghosts, Elijah's laugh echoing across our family's sagging Iowa farmhouse porch, Isaiah's quiet sketches of superheroes we pretend to be, Josiah's endless pranks that masked his fear. We'd been the Harlan Miracle, or so Mom called us until the bills piled up and Dad's beer bottles multiplied. For mouths to feed on a mechanic's wage in a town that revered football heroes. Not freak shows, as the neighbors sneered. I pushed through the curtain, gloved hands steady despite the tremor in my gut. The boys were huddled together, a tangle of limbs and whimpers. The smallest one, dark curls matted with blood from a superficial cut, clutching a frayed stuffed bear like it held the secrets to the universe. Their eyes, wide and hazel like mine, locked onto me, and for a split second, I saw us, 4 scared kids in a world too big, too cruel. "Hey, buddies," I said, forcing my voice into that soft cadence I perfected for scared patients. "I'm Dr. Zeke. Looks like you had a rough ride. Mind if I check that boo-boo on your head?" The smallest one blinked, tears carving clean tracks through the grime on his cheeks. "Are Mommy and Daddy coming back?" His voice was a whisper, fragile as spun sugar. I knelt to his level, the linoleum cold against my knees. Lies tasted bitter, but truth was a blade. "I'm so sorry, kiddo. They're in heaven now, watching over you like superheroes." The words stuck, echoing Dad's drunken rants about how we'd ruined Mom's life. How 4 of us was God's cruel joke on a man who wanted sons to carry his name, not dilute it. The boy, his chart said Micah, buried his face in the bear. His brothers, Levi, Noah, and Caleb, watched me with matching suspicion, their bond a fortress I'd know anywhere. Quadruplets weren't just siblings. They were halves of wholes, mirrors reflecting your best and worst selves. I'd lost mine years ago, scattered like buckshot after Dad's ultimatum. "Pick a path. Boys, this freak show ends now, or you're out." Elijah, the golden boy, stayed. Captain of the football team, valedictorian, the one who could charm Dad's rage into reluctant pride. Isaiah, the artist, vanished into New York's underground scene, mailing postcards of graffiti murals signed with a heart. Josiah, the rebel, joined the Marines right out of high school. His letters sparse but fierce. Miss you, Zeke. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And me? I fled to Chicago, burying myself in books and beakers, whispering prayers that distance would dull the ache of being the sensitive one, the one Dad caught staring at the neighbor boy during summer barbecues. His fist connecting with my jaw before I could explain it was just curiosity. As I stitched Micah's cut, the boys' chatter filled the room, Levi demanding to know if superheroes got stitches, Noah insisting they hold hands during the procedure. Caleb, the quiet observer, traced patterns on the bedsheet, his finger mimicking the loops a heartbeat monitor. It was hypnotic, pulling memories loose, Isaiah sketching our hands intertwined under the quilt, Elijah promising we'd always be unbreakable, Josiah daring us to run away to California where guys like us could breathe free. By evening, the boys were stable, tucked into a shared room with paper superheroes taped to the walls. Social services hovered, muttering about foster placements, the system's cold calculus that saw four as a burden, not a blessing. I lingered in the doorway, chart in hand, when a voice cut through the din. Dr. Harlan? A word. Nurse Ramirez. Her scrubs, starched crisp, nodded toward the hall. Their uncle's here. Says he's claiming them. My stomach twisted. Uncle. The word evoked our own, Uncle Ray, Dad's brother, who'd shown up once with baseball gloves and empty promises, only to whisper to Dad later, "You should have stopped at one. Mark. Four's a goddamn liability." I followed her, pulse thundering. He was a broad-shouldered man in his 40s, flannel shirt straining at the seams, a trucker's gut from too many diners and not enough dreams. Harlan. The name hit like a sucker punch. Not our Harlan, but close enough to sting cousins from Dad's side, the branch that stayed rooted in Iowa while we withered. Name's Travis Harlan, he drawled, extending a calloused hand. His eyes, flat brown, appraised me like I was merchandise. Heard about the accident. My brother's kids, poor bastards. Wife's gone too. Figure it's my duty. Duty. The words soured on my tongue. I shook his hand, feeling the ghost of Dad's grip, unyielding and unforgiving. The boys are traumatized. Mr. Harlan. They'll need stability. Therapy. He barked a laugh, too loud for the hushed corridor. Therapy? Boy, I run a farm. Chores build character. For strongbacks? God's gift after my own 3 girls. His grin faded, eyes narrowing. You a shrink or something? Look like one of them city types. All soft around the edges. He crept up my neck. Soft. The slur that followed me from Iowa, whispered behind hands when I came out at 16. Elijah shielding me from Dad's belt while Isaiah sketched my tears into abstract fury. Pediatrician, I corrected, voice steady. And quadruplets aren't strongbacks. They're individuals. They need a roof, he cut in, signing forms with a flourish. And family. Blood's blood. Doc. You wouldn't understand. Single like you probably are. The assumption landed like a slap. But I swallowed it. Single by choice. After too many heartbreaks, guys who saw the doctor facade but fled the fractured family man beneath. Just take care of them, I murmured, glancing back at the room where Micah's bear peeked over the blanket. As Travis herded the boys out 2 days later, their small hands waving goodbye, I felt a fracture widen in my chest. Levi slipped me a drawing, 4 stick figures holding a bridge across a stormy sea. For you, Dr. Zeke. So you don't forget us. I pocketed it, the paper crinkling like a promise I couldn't keep. Weeks blurred into cases, fevers and fractures. The endless churn of a city hospital. But the Harlans haunted me. News trickled in via the grapevine. Travis posting on Facebook about new farmhands, photos of the boys in oversized overalls. Faces gaunt, but smiling for the camera. I told myself it was fine. Blood was blood. Then, 6 months later, Isaiah called. His voice, roughened by city smoke and unspoken grief, crackled over the line. Zeke, it's me. God, it's been. I saw the news about those quads. Reminded me of us. You okay? I leaned against the kitchen counter in my cramped Wrigleyville apartment. The distant roar of the L train mocking my isolation. Peachy. Saving the world one Band-Aid at a time. You. A pause. Heavy with the weight of years. Exhibiting in Brooklyn. Sold a piece, our old farmhouse, but with wings on the roof. Buyers thought it was whimsical. If only they knew. He laughed, but it fractured. Miss you, brother. All of us. Elijah's married now, I said. The words a shield. Josiah's on his second tour. We're scattered. Yeah, another beat. Listen, Zeke. Dad's sick. Liver. Docs give him months. He wants to see us. All of us. The line went taut. A wire ready to snap. Dad. The man who'd called us mistakes. Who'd burned Isaiah's sketchbooks when he caught him drawing two boys kissing. Who'd locked me in the shed overnight for acting funny after I admitted to crushing on Tommy from down the road. Forgiveness? It was a foreign language. I'll think about it, I lied. But as I hung up, Levi's drawing fluttered from my pocket. The bridge now seeming less like hope and more like a warning. Some crossings you can't unmake. That night, dreams tangled, quads as ghosts. Travis's laugh echoing Dad's. And a faceless man with Isaiah's eyes pulling me from the wreckage. I woke sweating, the city skyline mocking me through rain-streaked windows. Chicago was my reinvention, but reinvention demanded reckoning. The next morning, a frantic page yanked me back. Harlan boys, or abuse suspected. My world tilted. I sprinted down halls that blurred into tunnels, bursting into Bay 3 where social services swarmed like vultures. Micah lay curled on the exam table, bruises blooming purple across his ribs like cruel constellations. Levi and Noah flanked him. Eyes hollow, Caleb rocked silently, humming a nursery rhyme gone wrong. Travis loomed in the corner, arms crossed, face a mask of righteous indignation. They fell in the barn. Roughhousing. Boys will be boys. The social worker, a no-nonsense woman named Patel, shot him a look that could curdle milk. Multiple fractures. Pattern welts. This isn't roughhousing. Mr. Harlan. I stepped forward, chart trembling in my grip. I'm their initial physician. Let me examine them. Travis's eyes narrowed. You again? Stirring shit. Doc. Documenting facts, I replied. Voice ice. As I probed Micah's ribs, his whimper sliced me open. Scale of 1 to 10. Buddy? Pain. 8, he whispered. Uncle said we'd get used to it. Like you did. Like you did. The words detonated. Shrapnel of memory. Dad's belt. Elijah's apologies. The night we quadruplets swore blood oaths in the hayloft to protect each other. I froze, glove hand hovering. These boys weren't just patients, they were echoes, demanding I break my silence. By shift's end, Travis was in cuffs, the boys in protective custody. I sat with them in the quiet room, coloring books scattered like failed distractions. Dr. Zeke, Caleb ventured, crayon pausing. Are we mistakes too? The question hung. A guillotine. I thought of Dad's slur, of my own hidden scars, the coming out that fractured us, the love I'd buried under white coats and white lies. No, I said fiercely, drawing a bridge beside their stick figures. You're miracles, and miracles rewrite stories. As they dozed, I texted Isaiah, "Come home. We have work to do." Iowa welcomed me back with open arms of cornstalks and closed minds, the highway unspooling like a noose tightening around my throat. It was July 2016, the air thick with humidity and the faint rot of regret. As I crested the hill and saw the Harlan farmhouse squatting like a sullen toad amid fields gone fallow. Dad's truck, rusted red, sat in the drive, a sentinel to the empire he'd built on denial. Elijah's Prius, sleek, incongruous, gleamed beside it, a testament to the life he'd curated. Wife, tenure at the local college, a picket fence facade that hid the cracks we'd all papered over. I pulled up, gravel crunching under tires worn from Chicago commutes, and killed the engine. The door banged open before I could knock, and there was Elijah, 32, going on Eternal Golden Boy, his hug bone-crushing, cologne crisp as new money. "Zeke," he breathed, holding me at arm's length, hazel eyes scanning for fractures. "You look good. Tired, but good." "Likewise," I said, forcing a grin. His hair was threaded with silver, laugh lines etching a map of compromises. Behind him, the house smelled of fried chicken and formaldehyde, Mom's recipe clashing with Dad's decline. Isaiah arrived at dusk, materializing from a Greyhound like a specter in ripped jeans and a faded Ramones tee, portfolio slung over one shoulder. His hug was looser, laced with weed and wanderlust, but his eyes, our eyes, held the same storm. "Farm's the same," he murmured, sketching the sagging porch with a thumbnail. "But we're not." Josiah was last, boots thudding up the steps in desert camo, buzz cut fresh, a duffel at his feet. The Marines had honed him into granite, but his grip on my shoulder trembled. "Heard about the quads," he said gruffly. "Remind me why we left." We gathered in the kitchen that night, the four of us around the Formica table scarred from childhood wars. Elijah's geometry homework, Isaiah's doodles, Josiah's knife whittling, my half-finished puzzles. Dad was upstairs, hooked to monitors we'd insisted on, his breath's ragged rattles. The hospice nurse, a kind-eyed woman from Des Moines, nodded approval at our vigil. So Elijah started, nursing a Coke. "We're here." For him, Isaiah snorted, flipping through a sketch pad. "For closure." Big difference. Josiah's jaw ticked. He called us mistakes. Beat the curiosity out of Zeke. Burned your art. Say. Kicked me out for enlisting instead of farming. And you, Eli, stayed to play peacemaker, pretending it didn't eat you alive. Elijah's face tightened, the professor mask slipping. "Someone had to." Mom begged me. "Keep the family whole," she said, right before the cancer took her. His voice cracked, a rare fissure. Mom had been our anchor, whispering lullabies about "for flames brighter than one," until Dad's resentment drowned her light. I stared at my hands, surgeon steady but scarred from that shed night. The boys I treated, Harlan cousins. Travis did to them what Dad did to us. Called them burdens, worked them like mules. CPS has them now. But I trailed off, the weight of Levi's drawing in my pocket of stone. Silence stretched, thick as the humidity pressing against the screens. Then Isaiah leaned forward, eyes fierce. "We rewrite it. For them. For us. Upstairs." Dad stirred as we filed in, his bed a battlefield of tubes and regrets. He was a husk, yellowed skin, eyes sunken like pits, but his gaze sharpened on us, for silhouettes in the lamplight. The freaks return, he wheezed, voice gravel. Come to gloat. Elijah knelt, hand on Dad's. We came to say goodbye. Properly. Dad's laugh dissolved into coughs. Proper? You are my curse. 4 of you, draining me dry. Elijah, you stayed, but soft. Let that boy from town whisper in your ear before college. Elijah stiffened. I'd forgotten Dad's spies. The town gossip that painted my brother as confused after a high school fling. Isaiah bristled. And you burned my hands for drawing truth. Zeke's truth. Ours. Dad's eyes flicked to me. Venom lingering. The pansy. Locked up to toughen. Worked, didn't it? You're a doctor now. Hiding in that fag city. The slur landed. But Josiah's growl cut deeper. You lost us all, old man. I shipped out to escape your shadow. But here we are, quads. Unbreakable. Dad's chest heaved. Monitors beeping accusation. Mistakes, he rasped. All of you. I stepped forward. Voice low thunder. We were your legacy. For chances to love bigger. You chose Fia. The room pulsed with our shared pulse. Quadruplet synchronicity, a quiet rebellion. He died at dawn, the sun gilding the fields like false gold. We buried him beside Mom under a sky bruised purple. The preacher droning about redemption we didn't feel. Afterward, in the church basement potluck, casseroles and condolences, we scattered, Elijah to his wife's expectant smile, Isaiah to a gallery opening, Josiah to a redeployment notice. I drove back to Chicago alone, the bridge drawing now creased in my glove box. Rewriting history sounded noble, but grief was a thief, stealing resolve 1 mile at a time. Months later, the call came from Patel. The boys needed a home. Travis convicted. Extended family nil. Your family, Dr. Harlan. And a doctor. Stable. They'd thrive. Thrive. The word mocked me. Single. Gay. Quadruplet scarred. But Levi's eyes haunted my sleep. Echoes of my own. I signed the papers. Fostering sight unseen. My apartment a whirlwind of bunk beds and therapy referrals. They arrived on a crisp October afternoon, duffels in hand, faces wary as feral cats. Micah clutched his bear. Caleb scanned for exits. Temporary, I told them. Voice steady. Until we figure out forever. Levi's drawing bridged the silence. You kept it. Miracles deserve remembering. That night, as rain lashed the windows, Noah asked, were you a mistake too? The question cracked me open. I gather them close, for small forms against my one. We all start as surprises, but we choose our story. Little did I know, choice demanded sacrifice, and secrets have a way of surfacing like bones in plowed earth. Elijah visited first, bearing blocks and books, his wife absent with morning sickness. We walked the lakeshore, boys splashing in shallows. Well, he confessed, Dad was right about one thing. I stayed because I couldn't leave you. Not after what happened with Tommy. Tommy, the boy who'd kiss me under the bleachers. Summer of '99. His touch electric until Dad's rage shattered it. Elijah had covered, claiming it was him, taking the beating to buy me time to hide. You never said, I whispered, wind whipping our words. Didn't want you carrying it. His eyes glistened. We're quads. Zeke. Your pain's mine. Isaiah came next. Canvas rolls underarm, turning my living room into a studio. He painted the boys as constellations, linking their freckles into myths. One night, wine loosening tongues, he admitted, I left because I loved you first. All of us. But you. Deeper. Incest taboo be damned. It was pure, before labels. His words hung, a confession laced with longing. Quadruplet bonds blur lines, emotions amplified, touches that heal. But naming it, it risked everything. We're brothers, I said, heart aching. And more. He nodded, sketching my profile with feverish strokes. Family's what we make it. Josiah's leave was stormier. Boots tracking mud, tales of sand and shrapnel. He roughhoused with the boys, teaching knots and constellations. But alone, over beers on the fire escape. He broke. Dad's ghost follows me. Every mission, I see his face, calling us mistakes. I re-enlisted to prove him wrong. But Zeke, I'm tired. I clapped his shoulder, feeling the tremor. Come home. For good. He searched my face, something unspoken flickering. You always were the heart of us. As winter deepened, the boys thawed, Micah's giggles at bedtime stories, Caleb's puzzles mirroring mine. But cracks spiderwebbed, schoolyard taunts about the gay doctor's freaks, CPS visits probing my lifestyle. And then, the letter from Dad's estate, a codicil, hidden, naming Travis guardian to any Harlan strays, with a caveat. Keep them straight, or forfeit the land. Betrayal. Postmortem. Elijah fumed. Isaiah sketched its rage in charcoal. Josiah punched a wall. I stared at the will, the boys' laughter filtering from the next room. Rewrite history, it demanded burning the old one down. Spring 2017 bloomed vicious in Chicago. Tulips bleeding red against gray skies, mirroring the fury uncoiling in my veins. The will's poison seeped slow. Travis out on appeal, lawyered up with Dad's farmland as collateral. He planned this. Elijah snarled over video call, his office bookshelves a blur behind him. One last twist of the knife, straighten them or lose everything. As if we were experiments. Isaiah, patching in from his Soho loft, laughed bitterly. Dad's homophobia, gift-wrapped for eternity. But Zeke, the boys, their mine I cut in, voice steel. The adoption loomed, hearing stacked like dominoes. I'd aced the home studies, poured savings into therapy, but the specter of Travis, smirking in depositions, claiming family tradition, loomed. The boys sensed it, their fortress tightening, shared whispers at night. Levi's drawings now fortresses instead of bridges. Josiah flew in unannounced, discharge papers crisp in his pocket. Quitting the Corps, he announced over takeout, lo mein, chopsticks clacking like gunfire. Can't fight ghosts overseas when they're here. His eyes met mine. Raw. And you? Need backup. Backup. The word warmed. But quadruplet intuition hummed warning. His gaze lingered, charged like pre-storm air. We'd always been tactile, hugs that blurred comfort and craving. Baths as kids where boundaries dissolved in soapy laughter. But adulthood weaponized it, turning affection into minefield. That week, a storm hit, literal and figurative. Hail pelted the city as CPS yanked the boys for reassessment. Travis's appeal gaining traction on a technicality. Dad's will as moral character evidence. I paced the empty apartment, walls echoing with absence. When my phone buzzed, Isaiah, get to the farm. Now, the drive blurred into nightmare. Wipers slashing rain. Heart pounding. Elijah's Prius skidded into the drive ahead. Josiah's rental truck fishtailing behind. The farmhouse loomed. Windows dark save one flicker. Candlelight. Travis's voice boomed from within. Slurred with bourbon. Blood rights. Counselor. Mark Harlan wrote it plain, keep him straight. Or the land's mine. We burst in, a quadruplet phalanx, to find Travis at the kitchen table. Lawyer in tow, the will splayed like a gutted fish. The boys weren't there, thank God, but the violation stung, this husk of home, our prison and palace. Now a battlefield. What the hell? Elijah thundered, shoulders squared like the scholar debating heretics. Travis rose, belly straining his belt, eyes bloodshot. Family business. You four, mistakes running loose. Uncle Mark knew. Quads like you spread weakness. Gays, runaways, soldiers with doubts. His gaze raked me, leering. Doc hears the worst, parading his perversion. Adopting strays to play house. Josiah lunged, restrained by Isaiah's grip. Say that again. Fat ass, the lawyer, a weasel in pinstripes, cleared his throat. The codicil stands. Guardian must uphold traditional values. Dr. Harlan's orientation disqualifies him. Disqualifies. The word echoed Dad's slurs. The shed's darkness. Tommy's ghost. I stepped forward, voice calm as a scalpel. This isn't law. It's bigotry codified. I'll fight it. Travis sneered. With what? Your fairy tales? Those boys need a man, not a pansy quartet. The room ignited. Elijah quoted precedents. Isaiah hurled a sketchpad sketching Travis as a bloated toad. Josiah cracked his knuckles. But I saw the fracture. We were mirrors, reflecting each other's rage. But one wrong word and we'd shatter. Enough, I said, snatching the will. This ends tonight. We reconvened in the hayloft. The old sanctuary, lantern light dancing on beams etched with our childhood oaths. Rain drummed the roof. A requiem. Dad's ghost wins if we fight dirty, Elijah said, pacing. We go legal. Expose Travis's record. Petition for emergency custody. Isaiah nodded, sketching furiously. And art, murals of the boys as heroes. Not burdens. Public pressure. Josiah, shadow in the corner, met my eyes. Or we burn it. The will. The farm, start clean. The temptation sang. Arson as catharsis. But Mike is bare. Tucked in my bag. Whisper no. We were right, I insisted. Not a race. As thunder rolled, Isaiah's hand found mine, fingers lacing in silent solidarity. Elijah joined, then Josiah. Our circle a pulse, 4 hearts, defiant. But in that intimacy, boundaries blurred, Isaiah's thumb tracing my knuckle, Josiah's breath warm on my neck. Quad love, amplified, teetering on taboo. Back in Chicago, the hearings dragged, a gauntlet of suits and scrutiny. Travis testified, painting me as deviant. Saw him eyeing boys at the hospital, unnatural. Lies, vicious, but they landed, judge's brow furrowing. The boys, in temporary care, sent letters. We want Dr. Zeke. He's our bridge. Then, the bomb, a private investigator's report, unearthed by Elijah's digging. Dad hadn't just hidden the codicil. He'd confessed in a letter, sealed for us. I called you mistakes because I was the failure. Feared your light would expose my dark, the affairs, the debts, the boy I loved and nom and buried. Forgive what I couldn't. The revelation hit like shrapnel. Dad gay, repressed, raging, projecting his shame onto us. Elijah wept in my arms. We were his mirror. Isaiah burned the letter's copy in a vigil candle, ashes scattering like absolution. Josiah punched the bag at my gym until his knuckles split, explains the hate, but doesn't excuse it. For the boys, we spun it gentle. Grown-ups make mistakes, but families fix them. Climax brewed in July. Court packed with reporters. Isaiah's murals had gone viral. Quadruplet miracles trending. Travis took the stand, swaggering, but cracked under cross. Old arrest for assault. The boy's bruises documented. Discipline, he bellowed. Abuse, the judge intoned. Gavel falling. Custody mine, permanent. Elation crashed into me. But victory soured as we celebrated at Navy Pier. Fireworks blooming overhead. Levi tugged my sleeve. Uncle Travis said you're like Daddy was. Hiding, the words. Innocent echo of poison. Ignited doubt. Had Dad's shadow tainted me? The boy's eyes searched mine, trusting yet tentative. That night, alone, I called Isaiah. What if we're repeating it, hiding our truths to protect them? His voice. Husky, then we stop hiding. Starting with us. Us. The word unlocked floodgates, years of stolen glances. Quadruplet empathy twisting into desire. But love among brothers? It was the ultimate controversy. A line crossed in whispers. Josiah sensed it, confronting me on the balcony dawnlit. I feel it too. Zeke. With you. All of us. It's not wrong, it's us. His kiss. Tentative. Tasted of salt and sand. A bridge extended. Elijah, ever the mediator, confessed over coffee, I'm married to escape it. But the heart wants what it quadrupled. We didn't act, not fully, not with the boy's innocence at stake. Instead, we chose transparency, family therapy, where bonds were named without shame. Love reframed as fierce, platonic deep. But secrets simmered, misunderstandings festering like untreated wounds. Then, betrayal, Josiah, restless, re-enlisted in secret. Can't stay, he texted from the airport. Too much. Love you all, but I'm breaking. The fracture widened. Boys sensing the void. Micah regressing to bedwetting. Caleb's puzzles unsolved. Isaiah raged. Painting apocalypses. Elijah withdrew into lectures. I drowned in shifts, stitching strangers while my family hemorrhaged. The climax erupted in August. A call from base, Josiah. IED. Critical. We converged. Elijah chartering a jet. Isaiah sketching mid-flight. Me praying over crash carts. In the sterile ICU. Tubes snaking like accusations. He woke to our faces. Mistake, he croaked. Leaving. Forgive. Always we chorused. Hands linking over his bed, a bridge mending. But as he healed, slow and scarred, the real storm broke, a tabloid expose, fed by Travis's spite. Quad doctor's incestuous clan, adopting to atone, blurry photos, our hayloft circle, misinterpreted touches, splash nationwide. Public fury erupted, protests at the hospital, death threats in my inbox. The boys pulled into hiding. Autumn 2017 stripped Chicago bare. Leaves carpeting sidewalks like shed illusions, mirroring the exposé's evisceration. The headlines screamed from every screen. Harlan Quadruplets, from farm freaks to foster fraud. Talk shows dissected us, psychologists pontificating on pathological enmeshment, preachers thundering damnation. My hospital suspended me pending investigation. The boys whisked to a secure facility. Their letters smuggled. We love you. Dr. Zeke. Superheroes don't quit. Quit. The temptation gnawed. A siren's call to vanish like Isaiah once had. But quadruplet blood ran stubborn, pulling us to the farmhouse for a war council. Elijah arrived with legal briefs, his wife filing quietly for divorce. I can't compete with ghosts, she'd whispered. Isaiah, hollow-cheeked from sleepless nights, unrolled a mural for bridges converging. The boys' is keystone. Josiah, wheelchair-bound but unbowed, wheeled and last, prosthetic fitting pending. Media's a beast, he grunted, eyes shadowed. But we feed it truth. Truth. The word was our scalpel, but cutting deep invited infection. In the kitchen, over coffee gone cold, we laid bare the blurred lines, the loves unspoken. It's not incest, Elijah insisted. Voice Professor Precise. It's quad empathy, amplified affection, not consummation. We've never crossed that. Isaiah nodded, sketching our hands. But perception's the blade. Dad's shame, Travis's hate, they weaponized it. I traced Levi's drawing, now framed on the fridge. The boys pay the price. We fight for them. The press conference was Elijah's gambit, staged on the farmhouse porch under a sky vast as forgiveness. Cameras whirred as we stood shoulder to shoulder. Josiah's chair throne. We're the Harlan Quadruplets, I began, voice steady despite the stutter threatening. Born for, raised fractured, but unbreakable. Dad called us mistakes. Society echoes it now. But we're doctors, artists, soldiers, teachers, men who love fiercely, without apology. Questions pelted. Incest allegations? Isaiah fielded. Come, ours is a bond beyond norms, platonic. Profound. Judge if you must. We know our truth. Adoption motives? Elijah. Redemption. Yes. But love first. Those boys. Our second chance. Josiah. Gruff. War taught me family's what you shield. Not hide. The feed cut. But ripples spread. Rewrite history trended. Allies emerging. Glad op-eds. Therapist testimonials on sibling bonds. Yet backlash bit. Picketers at the farm. Protect the children. Signs dripping vitriol. One night, a brick through the window. Freaks scrawled in red. Shattered glass and resolve. In the aftermath, sweeping shards. Isaiah pulled me aside. Zeke, if we lose the boys. His voice broke. Handcuff in my face, tender, teetering. We kissed then, soft as absolution. A line blurred in crisis. Not wrong, he murmured. Just us. Guilt followed, sharp as shrapnel. But clarity too, our love. Whatever label, was humanistic, flawed, fervent, free of Dad's chains. The hearing was Armageddon in oak-paneled purgatory. Judge stern as Old Testament. Travis testified last. Shackled but smug. Their poison. That doctor's turning those boys, my blood, into mini MES. The boys. Via video. Stole the show. Micah clutching his bear. DR. Zeke's our dad now. He fixes boo-boos and hearts. Levi, we draw bridges together. Caleb's puzzle metaphor. Pieces fit. Even if jagged. Noah's quiet. Family's not straight lines. Expert witnesses piled on. My psych eval pristine. Therapists praising our resilient co-parenting model. The judge deliberated overnight. The world holding breath. Dawn brought verdict. Adoption granted. Unconditional. Elation erupted. Hugs crushing. Tears salting cheers. But as we drove to reclaim the boys, Josiah's voice cut through. It's not over. Truth's a boomerang. He was right. Weeks later, Elijah's tenure denied. Moral concerns. Isaiah's gallery dropped him. Edgy but risky. Josiah's VA benefits tangled in character clauses. Me? Reinstated. But whispers followed. The gay doctor with the quad cult. We adapted. American grit our glue. Elijah pivoted to online courses, building a community for unconventional families. Isaiah's scandal-fueled exhibit, Bridges Unbroken, sold out. Proceeds to LGBTQ youth. Josiah founded a vet support group. Prosthetic leg, no barrier. I specialized in pediatric trauma. The boys my anchors. One evening, pierside at golden hour, we quadruplets walked with our foursome, 8 now. A new constellation. Micah skipped. Bear retired to shelf. Levi's latest drawing. Two bridges merged. Like us, he said. Harlan's. All. Isaiah's hand brushed mine. Elijah's arm slung over Josiah's shoulders. Touches chaste. Charged with chosen family. No more hiding. We'd rewritten the narrative. Mistakes in a manifesto. Yet, in quiet moments, I wondered, happy endings are illusions. But humanistic ones? They endure, scarred and shining. Dad's ghost faded, not vanquished, but contextualized, a man broken by his era, teaching us to build better. As sunset gilded the Golden Gate, wait, no, Lake Michigan's waves lapping gentle, we paused, 8 hands linking. To miracles I toasted, voice clear. To rewriting they echoed.